Welcome to this session on history of education in the post-independent scenario. We know India got independence in the year 1947. After independence, India set up a strong government under the leadership of Jawaharlal Nehru. The first government gave emphasis to the gradual development and spread of education all over the country. During the first 4 years preceding independence, educational development followed the lines of pre-independence era. India got her constitution in 1949 and initiation of planned economy took place in the year 1950. With all other aspects of national development, education was incorporated another vital element in planning. Development in the post-independent period demanded multiple roles of women in the society. As a result, women's education expanded to a large extent. However, the traditional view of special position of women in society and corresponding special needs of women influenced the planning for women's education. A review of 5-year plans shed light on the gradual development and spread of education in the country. But before that, it is necessary to look for the constitutional provision related to education. Now let's move on to the provisions in the Constitution of India bearing on education. The Constitution of India was adopted in 26 January 1949. There are many provisions in the Constitution which has either direct or indirect impact on educational expansion. The Constitution guarantees education through fundamental rights, that is Part 3 of Article 13, 15, 17, 21A, 24, 28, 29 and 30. Directive principles of state policy, that is Part 4 of Article 37, 38, 39, 41, 45, 46 and 47. And third, fundamental duties, that is Part 4A of Article 51A. Section on relation between the Union and the states, that is the 7th schedule. Official language, that is Part 17 of Article 343, 344, 350A and 351. And temporary, transitional and special provisions, that is Part 21 of Article 371E, has direct or indirect link with the growth of education. Under the original Article 45, the state was vested with the responsibility of providing free and compulsory education for all the children up to 14 years of age. Within a period of this 10 years from the recommendation of the Constitution, it is also incorporates early childhood care and education for all children from 6 to 14 years of age. However, the state managed to overlook it since Article 45 falls within directive principles of state policy. India is yet to achieve universal literacy till date. It is only after 55 years of independence, India realized the importance of right of education. The 86th Amendment of the Constitution in December 2002 enhanced the importance of Article 21 and 45. Article 21A accords right to education as a fundamental right of citizen of India. Article 45A views the state as responsible for providing early childhood care and education to children below 6 years of age. However, the amendment is yet to be implemented. Article 15 of 3 provide special provision enabling state to take affirmative action in favor of women and children. Article 15 of A imposes fundamental duty on every citizen to renounce derogatory practices affecting dignity of women. Article 41 declares right to work, education and public assistance in certain cases. Article 46 guarantees promotion of educational and economic interests of scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and other weaker sections. And Article 28 provides freedom of religion. Article 29 safeguards the educational and cultural interest of the minorities. It states that no citizen shall be denied admission to any educational institution maintained by the state or receiving aid out of the states funds on grounds only of religion, race, caste, language or any of them. Article 30 guarantees right to minorities in the establishing and administering educational institutions. Now, let's move on. What are the appraisals of the 5-year plans? 5-year plans played a vital role in the shaping and spread of education in India also. During the first 3 years of independence, that is, before the launch of the first 5-year plan, educational development followed pre-independence pattern. There was a general desire in renovating the existing system and launching a new education program for the advancement of education system in India. The gap in enrollment of boys and girls widened during that period. The government of India adopted 5-year plans from 1950 onwards. 12 5-year plans has completed its term from 1950 to 2017. Each 5-year plan is directed to attain some specific growth objectives. Many 5-year plans gave importance to education, and due to that, Indian education system developed a lot. 10th 5-year plan, that is from 2002 to 2007, identifies education as one of the labor-intensive service sector requiring policy intervention. It attempts at joining the education system with workplace through assertion of the dignity of labor and vocationalization of curricula. The key issues in the plan are greater focus on improving access and reducing disparities by emphasizing a common school system. In common school system, it is mandatory for schools of particular area to take students from low-income families in the neighborhood. The 10th plan also focuses on revision of curricula with the emphasis on vocationalization and employment-oriented courses, expansion of diversification of the open learning system, reorganization of teacher training, and greater use of new information and communication technologies. 11th and 12th plans also gave stress to education, and it aimed the modernization of Indian education. Now, let's see the reports of the various committees and commissions in the post-independent era. Immediately after constituting a strong government under independent India focused on the development of education. In this regard, government formed many commissions and committees. All committees for education appointed in the post-independent era undertook efforts in the constituting a national system of education. In the first 2 decades after independence, economic growth and self-reliance were the focus area, and thus technical and professional education gained top priority. University Education Commission, which is established in the year 1948, which is also known as Radhakrishnan Commission. The commission was under the chairmanship of Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, came up in the year 1948 to 49. The main aim of the commission was to reconstruct the university education after post-independence scenario. The commission acted as a gate in developing university education in India after independence. It was necessary for the reproduction of requisite scientific, technical manpower for socio-economic development. 2 important terms of reference of the commissions are as follows: to inquire various aspects of university education in India and suggest ways and means for the improvement of reorganization of the university education. And the second is to set up aims and objectives of university education in India. The Indian Universities Commission gave many noteworthy recommendations that helped India to develop its university education. Commission recommended well-equipped and well-staffed colleges, refresher courses for university teachers, avoiding overloading of the universities, no prescribed textbooks, improvement of libraries and laboratories, and compulsory attendance to improve the standards of colleges under universities. The commission felt that the conditions of university teachers were not satisfied, and it is recommended for the provident fund, that is a fixed salary and security of service for the teachers. According to the Commission, changes should be made regarding examination. For that, Commission recommended periodical university examinations, marking under controlled conditions, uniform system of classification and viva voce examinations, etc. Commission also recommended to launch professional courses under university education such as agricultural education, medical education, engineering and technological education, law education and teacher education. The Commission brought out the significance of women education also. It pointed out there cannot be an educated people without education of women, and women pass education to next generation. The University Education Commission has given generous consideration to women education because it has been neglected before independence. Commission recommended more colleges exclusively for women with all facilities with proper atmosphere. Where separate colleges are not possible, co-education should be encouraged. In these institutions, the enrollment of sufficient women teachers may be made. According to the Commission, women should be imparted in education that may make them successful and good housewives. Moreover, education creates awareness about rights and duties. The aim of Commission was to make women a good citizen, then make them professionals. In the financial aspect, the Commission observes that most of the universities are suffering from financial problems. The government have not in a sound situation also. In this instance, Commission made following recommendations. That is, the state government shoulder the entire cost of the universities, and second one, grants should be given to the non-governmental colleges under definite rule. Now, let's discuss the second committee after the independence, that is Secondary Education Commission in the year 1952 to 53, which is also known as Mudaliar Commissions. In order to set a link between secondary education and university education, Radhakrishna Commission recommends reorganization of secondary education in the country. Hence, Secondary Education Commission under the chairmanship of Dr. A. Lakshmana Swamy Mudaliar were also constituted during 1952 to 53. The important terms of reference for the commissions are as follows. The one is to study deeply and report the present position of secondary education in India in all its respect. And second one, to suggest the measures to reorganize and improve secondary education. The Mudaliar Commission gave many valued recommendations that helped India to develop its education, especially in secondary sessions. The commissions found out the following defects of the secondary education. They are: education in secondary schools are isolated from life, narrow and one-sided education, that is teacher-centered education, is practicing in secondary schools. English was the medium of instruction in secondary schools. Defective method of teaching, classes are overcrowded, defective system of examinations, etc. And Mudaliar Commission redefined the aims of education as follows. They are: development of democratic citizenship, development of vocational efficiency, development of personality and leadership, etc., development of a character. After detecting the defects of the secondary education system in India, Mudaliar Commission made following recommendations regarding the reorganization of the secondary education in India. That is, duration of secondary education should be 7 years from the age of 7 to 17. Secondary education should divide into two stages: junior secondary and higher secondary education. The Commission recommended multi-purpose school for the diversification of the courses. Commission rejected the idea for having of different types of education for girls and recommended special facilities for study of home science for them in all the schools. The Commission suggested either mother tongue or regional language as the medium of instruction to secondary schools and recommended English as a compulsory language in the secondary stage. Commission made many recommendations for the improvement of examination system in the secondary stage. Commission also made recommendations for the reorganization of the curriculum and textbooks. Now, the third committee was about the Indian Education Commission, that is from the year 1964 to 66, which is also known as National Education Commission or Kothari Commission. The Education Commission was very important in the history of education in India. The importance of Kothari Commission lies in the fact that it is the first commission after independence which addressed all the aspects of education at all stages. It undertook comprehensive review of entire education system and made detailed recommendations. The commission regarded education as most important instrument in the national development. Hence, the report is entitled as Education and National Development. It recommended common school system with 12 years of schooling and 3 years of degree course. Education Commission implemented the 3-language formula and recommended to increase expense in education up to 6% of GNP. Two important terms of references of Commission are as follows. To evolve national system of education keeping in view of the values and traditions of India as suited to the needs and aspirations of the modern society. To create new social order based on freedom, equality and justice. The destiny of India is being shaped in our classrooms. The report of the Kothari Commission started with the above words. The Commission made much important and realistic recognition regarding Indian education. The recommendations of the Kothari Commission is considered as a milestone in the history of India. Kothari Commissions recommended the following aims of education, that is, productivity-centered education, science-oriented education, work experience, vocationalization, social and national integration, promotion of national consciousness, education for modernization. The Commission also suggested the following structure for Indian education. Preschool education from 1 to 3 years of age and 10 years period of general education. It may be subdivided into primary education as lower primary education from 1st standard to 4th standard and upper primary education from 5th standard to 7th standard, and secondary education as lower secondary from 8th to 10th grade and higher secondary from 11th to 12th grade. And third, higher education, a general higher education and professional higher education. The given recommendations were also made to improve the status of the teacher. Recommended salary hike for teachers, a general program of welfare of teachers to be organized, the normal age of retirement for teachers in schools, colleges and universities should be made 60 years with an extension up to 65 years. Providing HRA, that is house rent allowance. The fourth recommendation of the Kothari Commission was regarding the teacher education, that is, improvement of professional training needed, improvement of teacher training institutions. The Faculty of Secondary Teacher Training Colleges, that is B.Ed, should have a double master degree in an academic subject, MA or MSc, and education M.Ed. The fourth recommendation was about the 3-language formula. At lower primary stage, only one language should be studied compulsorily. It should be the mother tongue or the regional language at the option of the pupil. Commission was not in favor of the teaching English as a secondary language at primary stage. At the upper primary stage, 2 languages should be studied on compulsory basis, that is, the mother tongue or regional languages, the official language of the union, that is Hindi. In addition to the facilities should be provided for the study of a 3rd language on an optional basis also recommended. At lower secondary stage, a 3rd language should be studied compulsorily. This is known as a 3-language formula. These are the major recommendations of the Indian Education Commission. Now, the 4th Education Commission after independence was National Policy on Education in the year 1986. In 1985, Rajiv Gandhi was appointed as the Prime Minister of India. He aimed at total reconstructing the organization of all the fields of India. Rajiv Gandhi promised a new education policy that will equip the country both scientifically and economically for the 21st century. For this purpose, in 1986, Government of India declared a revised national policy on education. The main features of NPE in 1986 are as follows. The first one is about the national system of education. This implies that up to a given level, all students, irrespective of caste, color, creed, religion, region or sex, have access to education of a comparable quality. The second feature is about the common structure of education. NPE 1986 implemented a common structure of education, that is 10+2+3 pattern of education. This structure has accepted in all parts of the country. In this structure, 10 years of general education, that is 5 years lower primary, 3 years upper primary and 2 years of high school, and 2 years of higher secondary education and 3 years of college education has included. The third feature is education for equality. NPE 1986 laid special emphasis on the removal of all types of disparity. It aimed the equalization of the educational opportunity. The fourth feature is early childhood care and education, that is ECCE. The NPE recognized holistic nature of child development, namely nutrition, social, mental, moral, physical and emotional development. ECCE received high priority and suitably integrated technologies for child development. ECCE also stressed integrated child development. Daycare centers will be more provided as a support service to the universalization of primary education. ECCE is also a child-oriented program focused around play and individuality of the child. The main aim of ECCE was strengthening of primary education and human resource development. The fifth feature was about the non-formal education, that is NFE. The large and systemic program of non-formal education was launched under NPE in the year 1986. The targeted population was school dropouts, working people and girls who failed to receive formal education. The sixth feature was Operational Blackboard. NPE 1986 decided to restructure of primary education. In this regard, Operational Blackboard policy was declared for the improvement of the standard of primary education. Operational Blackboard emphasized the importance of physical facilities and learning materials in primary schools. The seventh feature of the NPE was on Navodaya Vidyalayas. Navodaya Vidyalayas aimed the improvement of the high achievers. According to NPE 1986, the aims and objectives of Navodaya Vidyalayas are as follows. To serve the objectives of the excellent coupled with equity and social justice, to promote national integration, to provide opportunities to mingle with other people, especially in rural areas, to develop full potential of talented students, to provide residential facilities for talented students with free of cost. The eighth feature of NPE was on vocationalization of education. In this regard, it launched many programs. The ninth feature was on open university and distance learning. Open university system has been initiated in order to increase opportunities for higher education and as an instrument of democratizing education. In this regard, in 1985, government established IGNOU, that is Indira Gandhi National Open University, and NPE 1986 desired to strengthen the IGNOU. After NPE 1986, many commissions were constituted to study about the Indian education. They are following. First one is Ramamurthy Commission in the year 1990 to 91, which was implemented in December 1989. The main task of the committees was the revision of NPE in 1986. The committee recommended decentralization of education system, development of common school system, vocationalization of education, promotion of women education and adult education. The second committee was Janardhan Reddy Committee in the year 1992. The committee was appointed to examine the recommendation of the Ramamurthy Committee. Committees came into the conclusion that only a few recommendations of the Ramamurthy Committee was relevant. The third committee was Professor Yashpal Committee in the year 1993. Many education commissions and committees observed that the academic burden of school children and poor quality of education are the important issue in the country. The headings of the commission's report was learning without burden. The main recommendations are as follows. There was no justification for torturing young children by compelling them to carry heavy books every day to school. The textbook should be treated as school property. So, there should be no need for children to carry textbook. A separate timetable for the assignment and homework were also recommended. In primary classes, children should not be given any homework. In the upper primary and secondary classes, homework, if necessary, should be non-textual. Greater use of electronic media should be made for the creation of interest and motivation. Committee recommended child-centered education. So, this is the brief history of Indian education system in the post-independence scenario. So far, we have discussed about the provisions for the Constitution of India bearing on education, appraisal of the 5-year plans, reports of the various committees and commissions in the post-independence era, that is, University Education Commission, which is also known as Radhakrishnan Commission, Secondary Education Commission or Mudaliar Commission, Indian Education Commission or Kothari Commission, National Policy of Education. Thank you for watching this session. See you next time. Bye.